sit down with a CEO or a commercial director or a pricing team, there is a moment that happens. Not at the start of the conversation, usually about an hour in, when we stop talking about the strategy and we open the actual data. What different customers are paying for the same product on the same day. And somewhere in that first hour, someone asks a question. Not about whether the prices are too high or too low. Something harder than that. Why is this price what it is? I've been in that room more times than I can count. And the answer, more often than not, is the same. Nobody knows. That is not a small problem. And I want to show you exactly what it costs. I want to tell you what pricing looks like inside a business that's been operating for 20 years plus. Not what it should look like, what it actually looks like. There is the original list price. Built when the business was younger, the product range was smaller, and somebody actually sat down and made deliberate decisions. Then the first major customer asked for a discount and got one. Then a competitor moved on price and the sales team responded. Then somebody in finance introduced a rebate structure to reward volume. Then a new sales manager joined and brought their own pricing approach with them. Then an acquisition added another product range with its own history. None of these decisions were wrong at the time, but nobody ever went back. Nobody sat down 10 years later and asked whether the discount that made sense in 2008 still made sense in 2024. Nobody mapped whether the rebate structure was rewarding the right behaviour. Nobody checked whether the prices still had a logic that anyone could explain. What I'm about to describe is what I found when somebody finally did. The first business was growing. Revenue was up. The sales team were hitting their targets. The CEO was presenting a positive outlook to the board. When we looked at the transactional data, something was wrong. Thousands of products, multiple discount structures operating simultaneously, overlapping rebates, pricing that had been negotiated individually with each customer over years, manual overrides that had become permanent, promotions that had ended but whose pricing had not. Revenue was growing. Profitability was not. And when we asked the question nobody had asked before, why is this product priced at this level for this customer? Nobody could answer it. Not the sales team, not the finance team, the commercial director, not the CEO. The second business had a simpler version of the same problem. Two customers buying the same product in similar volumes under similar conditions. One was paying materially more than the other. We asked the sales team why. They didn't know. We asked the commercial director. He didn't know either. We traced it back through the system. The pricing decisions had been made years earlier by a sales manager who had since left the business. Nobody had questioned it. Nobody had even noticed. The customer paying more had been loyal for 11 years. I want to tell you what that costs when it compounds. Pricing complexity is not a systems problem. It is a visibility problem. The prices exist. The data exists. The transactions are all recorded somewhere. What does not exist is a clear line between the price a customer pays and a reason that can be explained and defended. And when that line does not exist, three things happen. Margin leaks without anyone seeing it. Not in a single dramatic moment, in thousands of small transactions where the price was a little lower than it needed to be, the discount a little larger than it should have been, the exception a little more generous than the situation required. Trust erodes without anyone naming it. The loyal customer paying more than a newer customer. They may not have known the exact number, but they sensed it, and when they eventually found out, the relationship changed. Pricing decisions become impossible to improve. Because if you do not understand why a price is what it is today, you can't make a better decision about what it should be tomorrow. The businesses I work with do not have a discounting problem. They do not have a sales problem. They don't have a margin problem. They have a price architecture problem. And most of them didn't know it until I showed it to them. And here is why this matters more right now than it ever has before. Right now, Australian businesses are operating under a level of pricing scrutiny that is uncomfortable. Regulators are examining how prices are set, how discounts are communicated, and whether the commercial claims businesses make about their pricing can be substantiated. And what that scrutiny is revealing is not simply that prices are too high. It's revealing something much more fundamental. Many businesses cannot clearly explain why their prices are what they are. The price list exists. The discount structure exists. The promotional mechanisms exist. But the logic that connects them, the reason a product is priced at this level and not another, the explanation that would hold up to a careful question from a regulator, a customer, or a procurement team, that is what is missing. And this is not a retail problem. Walk into almost any B2B business in Australia and ask the same question. Why is this product priced at this level for this customer? You will get a version of the same answer. That is just what the market will bear. That is what we've always charged. That is what the competitor charges minus 10%. None of those are a pricing architecture. They are an absence of one. The businesses I have worked with that hold genuine pricing power share one thing. Not a better product, not a stronger brand, not a larger sales team. A reason. A clear, defensible, explainable reason for why their price is what it is. Not a formula, not a spreadsheet, not a discount matrix. A reason a salesperson can say out loud to a customer without hesitating, a reason that holds when procurement pushes back, a reason that makes sense to the CEO, the commercial team, the finance director, and the customer at the same time. That may sound simple. In most businesses, it does not exist. What exists instead is a price list that has accumulated, rather than a price architecture that was designed. 20 years of decisions layered on top of each other until the logic underneath became invisible. The question being asked of Australian businesses right now is the same question your best customers are already asking you. Why is this price what it is? Not is it too high, not is it competitive. Why is it what it is? If your commercial team can answer that question clearly and consistently across your entire product range and customer base, you may have a pricing architecture. If they can't, you have a price list. And a price list is not a strategy. It is a starting point that was never finished.